So, all right, Nazi, we are live. So, hi everyone, welcome to another stream where we have Nazi with us today. Nazi is a solutions engineer at Fuel Networks, and he has been working as a solutions engineer at Fuel for past 1 year, I think, right now, and helping people get onboarded to Fuel Network, helping projects deploy on Fuel Network, all of that stuff. And apart from that, he has been a web developer or a developer, I should say, for more than 4 years now, and has been developing in the Web3 space, hacking in the Web3 space for almost 3 years now, if I'm not wrong, Nazi, right?
Yes.
And he has contributed to Developer DAO. He has contributed to Build Guild, and I think even on QuickNode's guides and tutorials, like few of them. So what Nazi will do today is take us through Fuel, what Fuel is, and later on he will explain about Fuel AI agent kits and show us how we can simply deploy or we can quickly deploy agents on the Fuel network. So, Nazim, I won't take much of your stage time and invite you to stage where you can greet our audience, and just introduce yourself a little bit, introduce Fuel, talk about Fuel, get people hyped up about Fuel. So, I'll pass it on to you, Nazim. The stage is yours.
Uh, all right. Firstly, thanks, Sahil. Thanks for the lovely introduction and thanks for having me. And firstly, I am Nazi. I am a solution engineer at Fuel Network. So just to a little bit highlight a little bit of about my journey. So I started working full time in around like 4 to 5 years ago, and since 2021, I am working in the Web3 space, and started with Developer DAO, Gitcoin DAO, and like that's where I uh, came across or got exposed to like wide community out there, and along with that, I started doing a lot of open source like just like Sahil mentioned, I have written articles and have uh, published video tutorials. Some of them were for QuickNode as well. And for past almost 1 year now, I have been helping ecosystem teams deploy and build on Fuel network and get them production ready with Fuel. So that's a bit overview about me and what I have been doing recently.
So, thank you so much, Nazi. And I think you have a lot of things to share about Fuel. So, we can just jump right into it.
Sure. Firstly, let's talk about what is fuel and why we are doing what we are doing and how we are doing that. So, firstly, let's talk about the EVM space. So, we have all used EVM and we have have experience with it with a lot of through it. So, firstly, let's address the problems that EVM has. To start with, it has lower TPS. Like you can not attain high TPS with EVM. And another problem that EVM has, it's the large state growth. And every time the block builder has to make any state changes, they have to deal with the whole state growth. And not only that, the state growth keeps piling up as the transaction process, and that is the another reason that we are not able to attain high TPS. And due to this high state growth, the gas fees are beyond the roof. Like imagine like if you have to launch NFT collection on mainnet, you have to or make it exclusive, then you would have to pay a crazy amount of gas fees on Ethereum, and that simply results in a bad UX. Like I don't want to pay $50 just to mint a free NFT, right? And I do not want to make double transactions to just uh, send some token to a address. So this all results in one simple thing, that EVM is not scalable, at least on a consumer hardware. Obviously, you can have supercomputers and achieve a good TPS, but I'm not up for it. So, how we are solving it and how we are doing it. So, jumping on to next, we have a solution called Fuel VM, and how Fuel fixes this is Fuel VM is designed exclusively for handling large transaction volumes, along with providing Ethereum security. I would like to highlight this security word here, that it doesn't compromise. I mean, like there are lots of scaling solution out there, different L2s that offers scaling solution, but they do one or two trade-offs, or like some really compromise on security. We don't want that. Fuel provides you all these out of the box with along with the Ethereum security. So I would just say it like it is Ethereum without limitation.
So okay, um, I just had one question, Nazir, around this.
Mhm.
That you mentioned Fuel VM allows Fuel to be just like Ethereum, but without limitations, with very high TPS.
Yes.
Uh, but there are a lot of chains which keeps on using EVM, but still use EVM, but they claim that they have somewhat higher TPS than Ethereum by rolling up their transactions on Ethereum,
Hmm.
executing transactions not on Ethereum but on their chain, etc., etc. There are multiple things, you obviously know about that. So
Yeah.
just wanted to, get the thought process or understand the thought process behind Fuel VM. Like, why a new, like, virtual machine altogether?
Hmm.
Why not just use EVM and develop things around it, or develop auxiliary tooling around it to make the chain faster? Why a virtual machine? Why a new virtual machine from scratch altogether? Because I'm sure there must be a lot of different things which comes with a new virtual machine. For example, developers will have to understand how this virtual machines work. There will be probably a new language, new execution language. I'm sure you will be talking about that later in the presentation, but just wanted to get the thought process and ideology behind this new from the scratch virtual machine.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Actually, that's a very good question. So, firstly, let's talk about the EVM. So, firstly, like there are EVM is not future ready. Like it was good in its own time, but it has a lot of design flaws. You can just like Google it out, like design flaws and EVM, and you can get a lot of content out there. So, firstly, to start with, I would like to mention couple of problems that are very important. Firstly, it is stack based memory, and that what that means is that if you try to access some element beyond 16 element stack, then you can't do it. And secondly, it is a 256-bit architecture. It is designed for 256-bit, which is not the ideal case with our other architecture, which are 64 bits. For let's say I have a word that fits in a 64 bits architecture, then why I would want to allocate 256 bits of space, which is I would say not very optimized way. And thirdly, it is you can't pass pointers in EVM. For let's say I have to reference to some memory, then I have to like duplicate it and again like reuse it, which eats up a bit of computation power as well, which I don't think it's again like it's a good way of doing it. So Fuel, firstly, is a register based virtual machine, and also like it provides unified memory, and also it's designed around 64-bit architecture, which all our major hardwares are. So I would say Fuel VM uh, fixes things from the basic, from the first principles, and that was our decision to build things from the ground up, so that with the VM itself we can squeeze out as much performance of our consumer hardware, and we don't have to like use supercomputers to achieve the TPS that we are claiming to achieve and provide the experience that we are aiming to provide. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely it did. Thank you so much, Nazim.
All right. So this was the whole introduction about Fuel VM. Now let's see what Fuel VM offers and how we are able to scale things up. Now, moving on to the next slide. So there are some of the exceptional capabilities that Fuel VM offer, and I would like to mention or highlight some of those. So to start with, firstly, we offer native assets, and what does that mean? So on Ethereum, I'm sure you must have traded some ERC20 tokens or like sent some ERC20 token to address. So in order to transfer some address, you have to basically do two transactions to just perform one functionality or one function. So let's say first I have to approve that token allowance, and then I have to make the actual transaction. So like that's very inconvenience, and also you have to pay gas fees twice. Fuel fixes this by providing native assets, so that every asset, even if you deploy your own ERC20 token on Fuel, it can behave as a native asset, and you can pay gas fees in your own asset. So I think that's a very big thing that helps in enhancing UX. And second thing is native account abstraction. So I think this unlocks a lot of capability on onboarding new users, and how I will get into it later by whole connectors and all. But we offer native account abstraction, and along with that, great interoperability. And by great interoperability, I mean that you can use any wallet, be it Solana wallet, Ethereum wallet, or any wallet on Fuel, and you can interact with it. And you must be
So,
assuming that, okay, yeah,
sorry to cut you off here, Nazir, but so you are saying that basically you can use any wallet regardless of the ecosystem with Fuel. For example, let's say Phantom. Phantom supports multiple chains like Solana,
mm,
Base, Polygon, Ethereum, but
mhm.
not Fuel yet. They might in future, but not yet. So you are saying that I can use basically Phantom, even though it does not support Fuel yet. I can use Phantom to make or to make transfers on, or to do transfers on Fuel, or to send transactions on Fuel, or to execute something on Fuel. Is that possible? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, it
And
is totally
how is that
possible.
possible? Just wanted to understand that.
Yeah, so currently, let's say if you have an EVM chain and you want to add network, the current way is like you have to add your RPC. You don't
Yes.
necessarily need to do that with Fuel. So with Fuel, we have this wallet connector SDK. So what it does is basically for every wallet, EVM wallet or Solana wallet, it creates account abstracted wallet on Fuel, and this is where
Okay.
predicates come in. I will get into it later how predicate work. So what it does is basically it just takes a signature while you are on your mainnet or like Solana mainnet. It takes your signature and it just extract it to Fuel and just makes the transaction. You don't necessarily need to switch network or like have use our Fuel wallet. You can just be in your native wallet and interact with Fuel while being there.
That's pretty sweet for anyone who wants to use Fuel. They don't even have to change their wallets.
Yeah, exactly. Even the address will remain same, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, like you will obviously have the account abstracted address on Fuel that is going to be different. But yeah, you
Mhm.
can just keep your current EVM wallet and you can just interact with it on Fuel at all the places. And our wallet SDK and our architecture takes care all the things behind the scenes.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for explaining that, Nazir.
Yeah. So along with this, we also provide parallel transactions. And due to this, Fuel is able to achieve 600 TPS on ETHDA. And that too without making any compromises while still providing Ethereum level security. I would like to highlight a tweet from one of my friend that for $1 on Fuel, you can actually do 8,000 transfers on Fuel. And I'm not even joking. This is the proven data. While on other chains, like I have put that as well, you can do 11 on Optimism while 14 on Arbitrum. So I would say Fuel scale things up from the basic principle and provide scaling out of the box, which I don't really think that other scaling solution provide. They do provide, I would say, one or two things uh, with them, but on the other side they do one or two trade-offs, which I don't really think is a good way. So I would say Fuel VM provides all of these things out of the box. And now jumping onto predicates that I mentioned in my previous slide. So predicate is one of the I would say most important designing uh, structure of Fuel VM or what Fuel VM provides. So the way predicates work is that you can visualize it just being like a safe, and in safe you can have some funds in it, and in order to access the funds from safe, you will need to have a key, or let's say you need to have like the password for it, right? So predicates work exactly like that. So let's say you want to access the funds from a predicate. So you send a transaction request, and with the transaction request you will have the password, or like let's say the key that you have put in your condition in your predicate. If it specifies the condition that you have mentioned predicate, then it will let you use the fund. Otherwise it will not let you use the fund, it will block the transaction. Now the main thing or main key feature of the predicate is that this is whole stateless. Now by stateless I mean like it does not store any condition. Now let's say that you have any xyz condition along with the funds with it, you can just put a condition, hey, like let's say if the transaction is this password, or the transaction specifies this condition or fulfills this condition, then just release it. So I would say like this is the whole smart contract living on chain, and that too without the state. So like it does not occupy any of the space. And this also abstracts the native account abstraction for you, and you will just need to replace the condition with the EVM signature. Then it will be like the whole account abstracted wallet for you. So I would say it's a really powerful thing that unlocks a wide range of possibilities on Fuel that are only possible on Fuel.
Got it.
Now,
So before we move on to the next slide, Nazi,
mhm,
you mentioned, or if you can go back to the previous slide,
mhm,
from what I'm seeing over here is that predicates can execute on a predefined logic if it
mhm,
receives a predefined input. So
mhm.
is this very similar to smart contracts, and is this how smart contracts work on Fuel, or there are actual smart contracts on Fuel as well?
Oh yeah, so you can consider it as a stateless smart contract because
Okay.
uh, its bytecode doesn't live anywhere. You just need to like provide the bytecode during the transaction itself, but you can consider it as a stateless smart contract. And coming to the smart contract, we do have a smart contracts on Fuel. Actually, we have uh, specialized Rust-based DSL called Sway, in which you can write smart contracts on Fuel. I will come back to it later in my presentation. But yeah, we do have
Hmm.
smart contracts as well.
Okay, understood. Thank
Got
you.
it. Yeah. So I would just like to highlight some benefits of predicates that it provides out of the box. So firstly, native account abstraction that I just mentioned, as well as stateless smart contracts and parallel transactions. So these predicates provide this all these things out of the box without doing any kind of tricks or like making any kind of trade-offs. Now, jumping on to the next design architecture of Fuel that FuelVM provides is the scripts. So what scripts lets you do is you can batch multiple transaction in a single one. So for example, consider the scenario where you will have to, let's say, I have asset A and I want to go to asset D, and in between I want to like I will have to go via asset B and asset C. Now if we are on Ethereum, then we have to like do multiple transaction, firstly from A to B, then B to C, and then C to D. And also you will have to do the allowances for each of them. So like you can just like it will be like six different transactions, right? So from to go from asset A to B. While on Fuel, what you can do is just mention the first transfer, second from B to C, and C to D all in this one script, and it will batch together as a single transaction. So what it does is basically you can go from asset A to asset D within just a single transaction. So I think combining this whole design architecture of predicates and script, it unlocks a wide range of capabilities that you can build on Fuel. like for example, fully on-chain order book, like that is only possible on Fuel, and like uh, it is completely stateless, I would say. So these are some of the great DeFi primitives that unlocks with such great architecture. Now, these were for all the users. Like it, like it enhances user experience and provide great interoperability. But what for devs? So I believe that in order for any alt to be successful, it also needs to be have a good dev experience. So for devs, we have a Rust-based DSL called Sway, in which you can write your smart contracts. And I would like to mention that Sway is basically the combination of Solidity and Rust. So what it does is basically it extracts the best part of Sway and Solidity and fuses them together into Sway. So Sway is like the smart contract language that is designed for writing contracts. Now, second thing is UTXO based model. Now, the benefit of, or I would say the reason that UTXO model we have preferred is that it supports parallel transaction and it also reduces state blows with the architecture that we have. So the third
So,
one, yeah,
few Nazir, before moving on to the next one, for our EVM native audience, would you like to explain a little bit more or shed some more light on UTXOs, like what UTXOs are and how they work and how they are different from the current account based model on Ethereum?
yeah, sure, definitely. So I'm sure like you must be familiar with the EVM account based model that we have. So what
Yeah.
happens in that traditional account based model? It's that, like, let's say you have like done 10 transactions, right, on EVM. Now, whenever you are like getting a balance on EVM, what it does basically, it gets the entire state of all those 10 transactions and then calculate the actual account balance on uh, EVM. So what it
Yeah.
has to do is basically they have to like deal with the entire state. Now I was just like, I took the scenario of 10. Like say you have done 1,000 transaction. Now each time you have to get the balance, it has to deal with the entire big volume of state to just get the balance. On the
Yeah.
contrary, how UTXO model works is it is uh, you can consider it as a coin. For let's say you have a UTXO whose value is $10. Now, if you want to go and buy some book of like say five, so you will just give them this $10 UTXO, and that person will return you the $5 UTXO. So now you don't have $10 UTXO anymore, just $5. So when with the UTXO model, when I have to get the uh, account balance of your address, then I just have to like sums up the all the UTXOs you have. Like you don't need to deal with all the large state volume or like all the hassle of like storing the state. You just need to like, okay, like I have 10 different UTXO of this much value, just add it and give the uh, account balance. And not only that, it also has benefit of benefit of like providing parallel transaction. That would be much more into detail that I don't think we have much time to dive into. But yeah, it also it is also one of the reason that provides parallel transactions out of the box. I hope that answers your
Got it.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. So basically, from what I understand or what I understood from your explanation is that um, UTXO basically makes the transactions and balance calculations very easy and efficient compared to going through the uh, account based model of Ethereum, because they do not have to rerun the state again or consider the state of the Ethereum chain or the actual chain, whatever chain we are
Yes.
talking about in this case. in
Yes.
in what in case. Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it is one of the reason that provides that the Fulium provides parallel transaction out of the box, because with UTXOs you just need to like like what state it will touch our transaction,
Got it.
so that there are no scenario that the different transaction will use the same UTXO. So you can just
Got
like
it.
do parallel transactions.
S- So even UTXOs can be stateless, and fuel already has predicates. So it just makes it really fast to execute stuff and calculate stuff instead of going through the entire state of the chain and calculating it via that Merkle tree and everything.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And I think that is the reason that we have been able to achieve like such a good TPS on E3DA. And also
Mhm.
like we have things in pipeline. We are working on Redacted, which is basically fuel on Alter DA, and we have like already achieved like 150K TPS on
Okay.
consumer hardware. Yeah, which is basically fuel on steroids.
Okay. So you're saying on consumer hardware, not even buffed machines, or not even like heavy machinery, heavy computers, quantum computers, stuff like that.
Not at all. You can just like spin up in your own MacBook and like you can achieve that TPS.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
uh, moving on to the next one, like we have our own execution client called Fuel Core, and we have our own orchestrator, which is called Fork. And to enhance smoother experience while for the developers, we also have Wallet SDK, and along with the TypeScript and Trust SDKs. And along with that, to enhance smooth developer experience, we have really great tooling to build dApps, and also like AI agent kit to build AI agents on Fuel. So I think this pretty much due to with all this, we pretty much ensure that also devs have a good time while developing on Fuel.
Yeah, that's very true. I really liked your statement or point where you mentioned that a chain is not successful when they have end users or masses. It becomes successful when it's very much usable by developers, because I think like that too, because developers are the ones who will create smooth and user friendly applications, and that eventually will bring masses to chain, that eventually will bring normal day-to-day consumers, users to chain. So yeah, very good thinking and very good approach by the fuel team here.
Thanks.
So yeah, Nazir, you mentioned AI agent kits, right? So uh, I know that you wanted to talk about that in a little bit detail as well,
Mhm.
and I hope you can show us what AI agent kit looks like, how it works, and how we, or how I myself, can create some agents using Fuel's AI agent kit.
Yeah, sure. So firstly, let me show you some demo. Firstly, how the things work. So
Okay.
this is the AI agent demo of Fuel that we have put it out. So it gives you with a burner wallet out of the box to just ready to use wallet, and I have already put some funds in it. So now let's say that I am a complete Web2 user. I don't know, okay, like how this whole thing works, how this wallet interaction works, and I just want to, let's say, send some assets to one of my friend. So what I can do is like I just like get my address from here, and I can just put it out. Okay, like let's say send one USDC to this address, and what it will do is will basically actually go and will do the transaction for me, and will just give me the transaction hash. You can just see, like you can just uh, ask things to like the AI agent to like do it for you. And not only that, you can also like swap assets on Mira, and which is our like AMM, also add liquidity, and also like supply and like supply collateral and land assets from our Swayland, which is another DeFi protocol on Fuel. So it connects you with a wider ecosystem on Fuel, and
Hmm.
you can like do a lot of things. So let me just give you a like quick overview about like why Fuel AI agent, and like why we have like built another agent kit, because like there is already one for EVM for Solana, and like why we have built our own agent kit. So
Sure.
firstly, EVM. Uh, So fuel VM is different from EVM because it uses a different set of functions to interact with the fuel VM, and like the whole uh, and EVM is virtual machine is different. So it requires a different set of SDKs and different set of functions to interact with fuel VM. So uh, our AI agent provides you that experience. And not only that, we also have integrated with Eliza. I'm sure you must have heard about it. So you can use the Fuel plugin from Eliza, and as well as we have also integrated with the Goat. I'm sure you must have heard about Goat as well. It is a multi-chain toolkit for developing AI agents. So yeah, this is the plugin from Goat SDK as well. And also, let's say if you want to like develop your own uh, AI agent, or like you are to develop your own using your uh, LangChain plugins, then you can just plug your LangChain SDK into a Fuel, or like use Fuel, import it, and you can just uh, get spin up your own swarm and get it ready. So it provides a really good out of the box experience for anyone who would want to build AI agents on top of Fuel. And I would like to highlight something, that getting started with the AI agent is like really not that difficult. So let me just show this to you. Uh, Not this. Uh, Here we go. So if you are a really new developer, and if you want to get started with the agent kit, what you have to do is just like install this npm package, and just execute, and just call this function execute. What it will do is it will just do all the things behind the scenes for you. It just extracts away all the complex logic into the sdk, and uh, you can just focus on your business logic to work things out. You don't really have to like deal with all the complex logic of how things work with Fuel and how things work behind the scenes. So it also like enhances the developer experience as well as user experience. Now let's say we let me just show you like the how we are doing things in our demo over here. So let me just pull out the code base for this. Yeah. Now you already saw this in action, right? So let me show you how simple it is to integrate this. So this is the chat interface component, and if you just look at the submit handler over here, here we go. It is just like one liner code. I'm just passing the input, whatever I have typed in the box, to this function, and it does all the things
Nazir,
for me.
would you like
Yeah.
to would you like to increase the font size of your code a little bit so
Oh,
that it's a little bit more visible on screen?
sure, sure. Is it visible now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah. So you can see that you can just like pass one function over here, or use just one function and pass whatever your input you have, and it will do things behind the scenes for you. It is just as simple as that. And all the things are taken care by the AI agent behind the scenes. So yeah, I think that is a bit overview of like what Fuel Agent Kit is and what it does for you.
Understood. Thank you so much, Nazir, for walking us through Fuel AI agent kits. And
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure there must be a lot of people building really good stuff with this SDK.
Yeah.
So, I would like to open up the stage for the audience, whoever are watching us live. That if you have any questions related to whatever Nazi spoke about, Fuel, be it predicates, scripts, or all the features which Fuel offers, like UTXOs, Fuel VM, whatsoever. If you have any questions around that, feel free to ask them right now. And for everyone who is not able to think of any questions right now, don't worry, this video will be available on YouTube as well afterwards, so that you can answer, so that you can ask your questions on the YouTube video in the comment section, and we will make sure to forward those questions to Nazi or the Fuel team so that those questions can be answered. And yeah, Nazir, so until we give people some time to, ask questions, do you have anything else to share? Any upcoming programs, hackathons, what like events coming up from Fuel side?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, firstly, like I just show you the demo of the AI agent. So, I think uh, you have a wonderful opportunity of like that. We have a hackathon coming up from 7th March, and it is going to be a week-long hackathon. And I think
Yeah,
it is going to be a wonderful opportunity for to build products which are possible only on Fuel due to the design uh, decisions of like predicates and scripts. Like just for example, like I mentioned on-chain order book. So there are so many DeFi primitives that are only possible on Fuel, and with the help of AI agent, it's just like so much easier to uh, build things on top of it. So I think it is going to be a wonderful uh, opportunity for devs to participate and build things up.
100%. So for everyone who's watching, make sure to apply to that hackathon so that you can win some exciting bounties. And Nazi, you said there are a lot of use cases which are only possible on Fuel, right?
Hmm.
So there is a question from Carl, and he asked that if there was a short description of why Fuel, there, what would that be? Because there are so many chains out there to choose from, right? So you mentioned, I think this relates to your statement that some things are only possible on Fuel. So
Hmm.
maybe just explain a little bit more that why those things are only possible on Fuel, and why Fuel, or if I was a developer and I were to create a new application or decentralized application, and I had to choose between few chains, then why would I choose Fuel? Because there are so many layer 2s out there, there are so many even layer 1s out there. So, and
Hmm.
now it's even easier than ever to create my own chain as well. So why would I choose Fuel compared to all the other options out there?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So, I think the answer to the question goes again. I think the first thing that I mentioned that I agree. Like there are lots of other virtual machines out there, and that provides one of the other things. But there are certain things. Uh, firstly, like none of the other chains I think offer all of this combined in a one single solution. And another thing that we have this predicates and scripts that lets you like do a lot of things. So for example, with predicates you can just have multisigs without actually paying gas fees. I mean, we actually do
Okay.
have such things like Baco, which is a multisig platform, uh, which is just like built out of predicate. You just need to specify a condition and it will work for you. And the thing is like it is whole stateless, and you while creating a multi-sig on Fuel, you don't actually have to pay the gas fees because predicates can neither be are already there, you can't create it. So these are like completely stateless as well as gas free as well. So like there are such primitives that are only possible on Fuel. And the other thing you mentioned, like there are I like other virtual machines, and why Fuel. So another reason is that we have our own DSL, which is Sway, and with Sway you can like unlock a lot of power of writing smart contracts. I agree that it has a learning barrier, but we have like this whole charcoal transpiler, which lets you transpile your Solidity code into Sway and makes the
Okay.
development experience really easy. And
So I can
also,
basically just paste my, so
mhm.
I, so sorry to cut you off, but so I can basically paste my Solidity code and get a Sway code, and just take that Sway code and deploy it, and that should work.
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It did. I think I hope, Carl, that answered your question. And Nazi, we do not have any other questions, and I'm pretty sure there will be more questions on the video once it's posted, because it will go
Hmm.
live to like 100K plus audience during that time. And Nazi, do you have anything else to share? What's new coming up with Fuel, apart from events, apart from you know marketing stuff? What's the new technical stuff you are excited about? What are those new updates you are excited about? If you can share some alpha with us.
Sure, totally. I would like to just extend this the idea of the fuel agent kit. So currently we are like integrating agent kit with a lot of DeFi protocols on fuel. For example, multisigs and fuel name system. So I think it would really simplify onboarding for the new developers. So now let's say that someone who is like completely not crypto native, so you can just like put it into fuel that okay, that send some 10 USDC to sahil.fuel. And what it does is basically it extracts away all the functionality from you. And we also are working on the passkeys and email logins for that. So it would, I think, totally abstract out the Web3 component out of this, uh, all the complex things out of this on our own side, so that if a Web2 user is coming and he wants to send fund, he can just like use a passkey or email login and just start interact with it. You don't really need anything. And I can be a mobile app, or it could be like just a banking app that lets us like make a UPI transaction. In India we do. So I think those are really really cool use cases that uh, we are working on it. And another thing, like yesterday only we made an announcement of the decentralized sequencer. So I think that's something that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, decentralized sequencers, I think, will be game changing
Mhm.
tech in this space, where layer twos or rollups can actually reach that stage to benchmark,
Yes.
can achieve that stage to benchmark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it, Nazi. Do you want to share something else?
Uh, no, I guess that's all.
All right. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, we can conclude here, Nazi. Thank you so much for to everyone who joined us and stayed with us throughout the stream. I hope this was a little bit helpful for you all to understand what Fuel is, and how you can create your AI agents on Fuel. And thank you so much, Nazi, to you for teaching us about Fuel, and to explaining us about the Fuel agent kit, and showing us how we can set up our own agents using the agent kit SDK as well. So I hope you liked it as well, and I hope to do more of these in future with you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining, and I hope
Yeah.
to do more of these with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me. And it was really nice, like coming here and teaching fuel and demoing the amazing stuff. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Nazi, and thanks everyone.